Hi, everybody. Welcome to AITA Pod. I'm Danny Vega, joined by the co-host of the Kobo, Sara Levine.
How is it going? We got the hat connection going. Yours is better than mine. We've got the Kermit drinking tea. Also, like with your, I don't know what is that, a quarter zip? Like you're giving tennis pro today.
Hell yeah. I'm so bad at tennis. The more I play tennis, the worse I realize I am. That's the worst part.
That's sad. I do feel like I'm the same way, though. I went to summer camp for 10 years, and they would always give us tennis lessons, and I suck.
It's so hard. What a utterly humbling game. Now, tennis is not super relevant to our theme today, so I'm really excited. I put this episode together, and
I love it.
I will say it's called Secrets and Slip-Ups, and I want to give everyone a little bit of context. Sara and I, for those of you relatively new to the pod, Sara and I did, hundreds of episodes together. She's my ex co-host. But I think one of our biggest fights has been about secret keeping.
Oh my God. Hell affair.
Yes, hell affair. And we don't need to relitigate it, but suffice to say, I think a theme that's going to come up today, or rather a concept within this theme, is the burden of the secret.
Yeah.
And I feel that there is potentially a gender aspect to the burden. The burden can come in these different ways. I'm going to throw that out there. The burden of the secret.
Well, okay. This is my initial top line thought, is that when you agree to keep the secret, you accept the burden. Like, that is the trade-off.
I don't know about that. Seems troublesome.
Why would you agree otherwise?
How can you know the burden if you don't know the secret yet?
But there's some burden.
Well, there's some burden,
It's
but
inherent.
but is it a burro's burden? What kind of burden are we talking about? A burro, you need a donkey to carry it for you? How heavy is this thing? Before we get into it, I want to talk about this. My least favorite response to a secret. Man, people will still be saying this to me. We need to get the word out. I'll say, I'll let you in on something, but it's between you and me. Yeah. Who would I even tell? That does not inspire confidence. Why would that be what you say?
Because it's like, who would I even tell that this would matter to? You know what I'm saying?
But what I'm saying is I don't want you to tell anybody. The idea of telling shouldn't be on your mind. What I want to hear is, of course, I'm great with secrets.
I usually drop the who would I even tell afterwards when it's clear that there are like no mutual people that this would ever impact. You know what I mean?
I'm telling all my secrets. I don't tell them directly. I don't get people in trouble. I anonymize them and I create new characters and stuff. But I'm telling that
Post
secret.
them on Reddit.
Exactly. Post them on Reddit. Tell my mom, whatever it is. It's going out. But
mom is like implicit part of the secrets, I feel like.
I know, right? That's like, is there mom privilege on secrets? We talked about spousal privilege. That's another concept.
There is spousal privilege, confidentiality.
Yes, I think that's understood. There's a whole milieu around secret keeping, and we're going to touch on quite a few different aspects here today. We're going to start actually with, we'll get to that. Our second one is, I got this on personal finance, actually. This is really interesting because,
cool.
And let me say, I love when this happens on Reddit. Something that can happen, which happened with this post, is I got it. Obviously, it's posted on personal finance as advice, essentially. It's not soliciting really criticism, which is a big difference with what we do on AITA Pod subreddit. So that, of course, is going to change the comments, but it got deleted off personal finance. So that makes me feel like I just saved the Library of Alexandria. Hello, we almost lost this post.
An archaeologist, a Reddit archaeologist.
Exactly. Thank God I saved this timeless piece of lore.
Yes. Oh my God.
Our second situation, I've kept a separate secret account from my husband for 4 years, and I genuinely think it saved our marriage. I can't say this out loud to anyone in my real life, so here we are. But first, guys, please rate, review, subscribe. Join me on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. Hundreds of bonus episodes. A lot of them got Sara. Whole history of the pod, ad-free, accurate timestamps. I'd love to see you in there. I'd really appreciate it. And here we go. AITA for lying to my husband about the best I ever had. 6F just got married, and recently my husband and I got more comfortable talking about the exes. I guess it's time, comfort, and having talked through just about everything. We also live out in the boondocks, so there's a whole lot of nothing going on. I love that. The other night he asked me about
problem.
Right. He asked me about the best I ever had. Right away, I thought of this vacation fling I had. It was just memorable. It was in a different country. To spare the details, it was stuff for romance novels. And I also mean that in the way that it was also lacking any real substance. Before I answered, he said it was me, not even close, and brought up some memories from our early relationship. I knew my answer, but it didn't feel right to disagree, so I just went with it. I said, yeah, me too, and brought up a different trip we'd taken. I didn't feel bad at all in the moment, but then later he brought it up again, saying the name of the place, the one I said, and I felt a twinge of guilt. And now I'm hoping he drops it, which is making me think maybe this wasn't really that innocent of a lie.
OP, you finessed this perfectly. Jesus Christ. Why do men do this? Why do men ask the questions that they don't want to know the answer to? Like they ask you about your body count. Why would you ask? Like, oh, have you ever been with a guy with a bigger dick than mine, et cetera, et cetera? Don't do this. Don't do it to yourselves, man.
I'll say this. I used to be really into that, or like feel like I wanted to win the competition of size, but I don't care.
You gotta be so confident to ask that question, I feel. Maybe that's the problem.
Well, I'm like,
too,
obviously.
You're like,
I
really...
mean, I'm average. I'm fine. I don't care. Well, because here's the thing on a woman's side, I've been with girls way bigger than her. No, but I have, or whatever, like any attribute you can name that positive, whatever. It's like, it's not like that's what makes the thing. It's a very like, it's honestly, I think from corn, if I may say, porn.
So you're like curious about it from like a anthropological perspective, not like I want to think I have the biggest dick.
I wouldn't go there at this point. I wouldn't care to hear about it. But I'm saying in my youth, you're asking why, and the reason is because we want to be told the one answer. It's not true that we don't want the answer. We want the answer of course it's you.
Well, yes, you don't want the truth, but you want an answer.
Well, it could be the truth. You don't know. We don't know that. You might not have the self-assessment, the realistic assessment, which I now have, and also have the wisdom to know it truly does not matter because, I mean, who cares? Like, that is so... That is just such a small part of the experience. The best I've ever had, which by the way, let me say this, there's also a recency bias with the best I've ever had. This is
That's real.
Because it's like, it's sex. So what is it really? It's not like a roller coaster. When it's at its best. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I also feel like it's kind of like, what is like best? Like, are you talking about something like this girl, like something like, just crazy and wild. But then when you think about the reality, you're like, I don't know, you're just like, did I even respect that other person or like them? Like, probably not. Things like that. Or
exactly.
Like craziest location. Like there's all types of categories.
Exactly. It's like saying, what's the best movie? It's actually crazy. It's crazy that we have the best picture. What a crazy idea that they do that. Really, if you think about it, it makes no sense. It's like saying, what's the best fruit? Well, it depends.
Well, it's obviously the Honeycrisp apple, right? Is that where we've landed?
You would think I would say that. Sometimes grapes really be hitting different for me.
Grapes? Not a grape.
You're a grape hater?
I was expecting you to say. I actually kind of am a grape hater. You know what?
That's so whack, bro. I can't even believe you're saying that.
They're good at the beach, and that's kind of it.
Okay, well, at least you admit at the beach.
Yeah, the beach. I'll give you the beach, but like, wow, this is the most boring conversation. Best all-around fruit, it's got to be some kind of a berry. Okay.
But that's the thing, and we could sit here and go back and forth about the fruits and the sex, and the idea of the best itself is a value-laden judgment. In other words, when we talk about what is the best, truly we could go, and even on this stupid fruit conversation, we could talk about, is it the fact that it tastes delicious or that it's refreshing and crisp? But then we could even get into the averages. Here's one. The best tennis player ever, by the stats, by the numbers, and it's very hard to go around this, is Djokovic. But a lot of people don't like this guy because he's like an anti-vaxxer. They don't like his public persona because of those reasons. And I got to say, I'm so proud of this. I didn't like him just because of the way he played tennis. And so then when I found out he was an anti-vaxxer, I was like, he plays tennis like an anti-vaxxer because I don't like the way he plays. It's not artful to me. And
interesting.
So is he the best? Well, then you start to get into what is the nature of a sport? Is it to play it in an artistic, beautiful ways or to win? And, well, as a watcher, I want to enjoy watching it. And I generally just find not that much enjoyment in watching the way he plays. That's how I feel.
Interesting.
It's my opinion. So going into this question, here's another aspect to this. Actually, a tweet helped me understand this. Tweets are a large part of my sort of literary canon. I saw this tweet and it said, if basically whatever, the Gestapo or someone knocks on your door and they say, are you hiding anybody? Then you say no, and you're lying, right? That's the idea, is that that's a lie, quote unquote. But they're not really saying, is there anybody else with you? They're saying, we're going to kill your friend. That's what the subtext of what they're actually saying.
Totally.
So Totally,
I'm
right?
familiar intimately.
Right,
Yeah.
you're familiar. You might have heard of World War II and these things. So there's no tweets about it, so I don't know. But so in other words, what is he really asking, which is what we started this conversation on? What he's really asking is, can you please validate me sexually? Can you validate my sexual prowess?
100%.
So in a sense, really, truly, she is not lying at all.
I feel that. I mean, like, I don't necessarily agree with you, but I'll go with you.
Well, it goes, I mean, we could go a similar direction with this, right? When we talk about, does this dress make me look fat, right? This is this trope. And the answer is no. Okay. It doesn't really matter what you think because the question typically is not literally, does it or does it not? The question is, can you please validate that this dress looks good?
Yeah. It's definitely this, the subtext. I feel you for sure.
The subtext. So in other words, the idea here is that in the context of a relationship, not in a court of law, but in a relationship, to lie, it is not a lie when you're answering the subtext. That's the theory.
Yeah, and like who would ever find out? You know?
Sure, but is it even a lie? I mean, I don't know. I guess that's what is a lie exactly.
We're getting so philosophical. What is a sport? What is a
lie? Yeah. Top comment, informal knowledge 16, which we could use that as a definition itself. Let's go. Wow, the username's messing with us. No, you're not. He's an idiot for asking the question. But if your relationship is such a standout for him, then it likely just didn't cross his mind that the best for you wasn't together. You're not in the wrong for having had better, but just stick with it because you'll destroy him if you say otherwise. Yeah, so I think there's a whole kind of gamut.
If you get an answer that you don't want to hear, it's going to destroy you.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going far with it. I think I think we do this. I think this is natural. It's also a projection, right? You don't know where the other person is coming from. If he's so satisfied with her, this actually might have really been a way of begetting intimacy and connection in a way, right? Because he's expecting, maybe ignorantly and maybe pompously to some extent, but he's expecting her to go, him. But what happens? He actually answers first. So he was actually just kind of introing the fact, you know?
Yeah. I think there was like many landmines and they both kind of deftly or just by happenstance avoided them. Yeah, there are definitely better ways to ask this question, I feel, as like he could have just said, what's the best like we've done together or whatever. Or, you know, phrasing it that way is such a minefield.
Or you could just say, tell me why I'm the best. That's what I need right now. Just cut right to it.
Totally. Yep.
Don't make us calculate the subtext.
Yes. Give us speech. Give us soliloquy.
AITA for lying to my best about AITA for lying to my husband about the best I ever had. I think we're lined up. It's no assholes here. This was well played. I
could almost go NTA because the guy is stupid for asking that, but I don't care enough to fight you on it.
Fair enough. Folks, please rate, review, subscribe. Join me on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. Every single episode ad-free. All right, now we're going to do this personal finance post, which is deleted from the whole internet, except the AITA pod subreddit.
How it lives.
It lives! I've kept a secret account from my husband for 4 years, and I genuinely think it saved our marriage. I can't say this out loud to anyone in my real life, so here we are. Let me explain. We got married when I was 27. In the first 2 years of our marriage, my husband went through a rough patch, lost his job, struggled with personal stuff, and we burned through almost all of our joint savings, about $22,000 in 18 months. I don't blame him for the hard period. I really don't. But the experience of watching a number I'd spent years building just disappear while having zero control over it broke something in me financially. I felt genuinely unsafe in a way I hadn't expected. Thing is, I've never told a single person about this. Not my best friend, not my therapist, nobody, because I know the reaction I get, oh, that's financial infidelity. You don't trust him. That's not a real partnership. And maybe they're right. But I also know what it felt like to have no safety net, and I never want to feel that way again, regardless of how much I love my husband. I'm not asking if I should tell him I've made my peace. I'm just asking, am I the only one who has done something like this?
Well, probably not, but this is interesting.
Yeah, there's a detail here. So she put $400 to $600 a month into a high yield savings account. 4 years later, that account has a little over $23,000, and I sleep better because of it. Our marriage is actually really good now. We're communicating well. We have shared financial goals. We're saving for our house together. He's been stable and responsible for 3 years, but I cannot bring myself to close that account or merge it. It's not about distrust. It's about knowing that if everything went sideways, I would not be starting from zero.
Well, I do feel like, unfortunately, there's a lot of details and like missing details and subtext because it's like, what do you mean he's been stable and responsible? Like, why did you burn through your savings so fast? You know, was he like gambling? Like, what's the deal? Or you know what I mean? Not so fast,
Wasn't
but
that fast.
like, was he actually being irresponsible or did he just lose his job and like the economy sucks? You know what I mean?
22 grand in 18 months. That's pretty slow, actually. I think that's great.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, presumably she's working. No, this is what I'm like kind of wondering. She seems to blame him for this period, so I'm curious why.
Well, yeah, I mean, he lost his job. He was a drain on her. I mean, I think getting locked, I don't want to get locked into what are the facts here. I think what
Yeah,
I'm
'cause we
more
don't have 'em,
interested
I'm just
in
saying.
is the gender disparity here. Because, you know, the top comment says women for generations before will tell you have your own money. You should not be financially dependent on another human being for your very survival. And yeah, I think, look, we don't going into this thing of like women haven't had credit cards for 100 years. Like
Right,
there's a
that's
context here.
That's why people say that. It's because women couldn't make their own money, but now that they can, I don't know.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
presumably she does. I don't have a problem, obviously, with like having your own bank accounts. I guess I do wonder about why she feels like she has to keep it a secret. And so that's why I'm kind of circling back to like, well, what and we can't, these are like unanswerable questions unless OP like hops on here, but it is kind of like, well, what happened? And it was their joint savings, right? That's what she says. So,
yeah.
you know, she
So now
feels
she
like it
hides
was
it.
all her money. Like she kind of feels like that, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, when I think about what I think I know about women, so shut me down. But when I think about this dynamic and I think, look, man's scary. That's just generally going to be true. There's a level of physical dominance. Men wear the pants in the relationship on some level because of that. Hopefully this guy is, you know, pretty healthy. They're married, but there might be a layer of that. It might not even be to any toxic extent. She just knows that's what it is. He's a little bit in charge. And on top of that, go ahead. You don't like that?
No, I don't like that.
You don't like that. Talk to me why.
Because I just think of like how most men can't even like run a household. I mean, you could go like both directions with the tropes. Like you could also say like happy wife, happy life type, you know, that sort of cliche of it.
Well,
or
she might
you
be
could
happy
go,
in it, though. She might be happy. I never said she wasn't happy.
Yeah, I don't think men wear the pants in that relationship.
It can manifest in different ways. I guess wear the pants is also almost in this metaphor, which I've never actually chewed on that much. To wear the pants is almost to present as in charge, right?
Yeah, it's a gender term. I just
because
feel
men
like
wear
so
pants
many
and
heterosexual
women wear dresses?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's usually like referred to as like she wears the pants. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like I usually
I'll
hear
go with
that.
Okay, I'll
because
buy
it's
that.
supposed to be like, oh, this is the opposite of how it's quote unquote supposed to be. I just feel like so many heterosexual relationships I see, like the woman actually fucking does everything. Anyway,
Yeah,
and
but see, you're mixing and matching. I'm not saying that they have equal household labor.
No, I'm not saying that either. But I'm
Okay.
saying a lot of times, like the men just kind of, what's the word? Like the woman calls the shots because she's like directing so much already.
I guess more what I'm on about is two traits that I see is that one is that man can be scary. There's a physical dominance that's just there. That's part of it. Or maybe that doesn't apply that much. And the other is that women can be people pleasy or overly caring. And so combining those two things, we got into this situation and she almost felt this pressure to, you know, care for him and burn the savings, right? Because what did she say? She said, I felt like I had no control. I felt genuinely unsafe because she had zero control. And I'm like, damn, you felt like you had zero control. And so that's kind of what I mean. To me, there is like just a gap in the nature of things where I'm like, yeah, if that's their dynamic and he is just a little bit dominant or in charge. And by the way, that's not necessarily bad. She might actually find that more attractive. That might be what makes the relationship work in these other aspects. But she doesn't like the idea that he controls all the money. She wants a safety net.
Well, okay. I didn't really get that vibe from what she said. It seemed like she felt out of control because she can't dictate whether he gets a job, you know, like she can't influence that. And the unsafe thing, I mean, to not have any savings is kind of scary. And if she's working, then it's like she's doing what she can, you know?
Sure. Oh, yeah. Control. And then zero control. That's what she said. Latranus writes, NTA, being married doesn't mean giving up your entire identity in life. I was once putting my wife's laundry away and found a literal pile of money I had no idea about. I shrugged and said good for her because she pays her portion of the bills and saves money and is generous buying little gifts and dinners she still doesn't know I know. As long as responsibilities are covered, there's no reason a person needs to share something that helps alleviate their anxiety and helps contribute to a healthy marriage. Sitting on a life-altering amount of money or saving up to do something drastic in the marriage might be a different story, but the OP is perfectly reasonable.
Well, then I don't necessarily have a problem with this person, but then I'm like, well, what is a life-altering amount of money? What is drastic? Like, I don't know.
I think Toyota Corolla money is below both of those
Toyota Corolla.
Quite a bit. That's a nice used Corolla. Maybe most of a new one, but they're going to get you fees. You know it, right?
Tax. I don't know. Do they charge tax?
Yeah, taxes, gap insurance. You're screwed.
Gratuity,
I promise. You're not walking away. Gratuity. You're not walking away from the dealership.
They give you the iPad.
Psychology quote that came to my mind. The clinical fear of breakdown is a fear of a breakdown that's already been experienced. In other words, the thing you're most afraid of already happened, which in this case is like so transparent. Right? Because she saw it all drained. She felt powerless.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one thing life has taught me is there's the ideal world and the fantasy world. And we say, is this a perfect thing? Well, in a perfect world, she, of course, would be transparent and say, like, I got all this money stashed away. But we do not live in such perfect world. We live in the real world.
Yeah. I mean, I am just curious why she feels like she needs it to be a secret.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think there's some element of him that
with this.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I'd be like, look, if you want to do that with your money, that's fine. If you want to throw $20,000 into a savings account and, basically, I'm not very financially literate, if you ask me, but whatever, you want to basically keep it in cash and earn 4%. That's great.
30 cents of interest a year.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know. I thought this one was interesting because I think I wouldn't be able to defend it with a man as much because I'm like, there's no background. We don't have this, this relatively new thing of financial independence for men. So I saw here just kind of an entryway into an acceptable double standard.
Well, I guess it's interesting because, it is kind of informed by like generational trauma.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess if the genders were flipped, well, if she was a primary breadwinner or only breadwinner, like maybe that would be a bit different. Same thing with the man. I think that's kind of like the implication is when you flip the genders, you kind of like make an assumption. I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, it gets a little hairy. If we flip it, he's storing the money, but he's a primary breadwinner. That seems really whack.
If he's the primary breadwinner, yeah. But if they both like have their own separate, incomes and things like that, I don't see a problem. And I also don't personally think that you have to combine your finances necessarily or combine all of them. So I wouldn't have a problem on its face either if a man was like, I don't put all of my money into our joint account. And she also has a job. Well, that's why I don't really like her hiding it necessarily, which is why I'm wondering more about what happened. But I do think this is like fairly normal, I guess, to say. Like this person's asking on personal finance. Like people do it. It was done.
It was ripping until the mods took it out. I forget why. They have some criteria that it just didn't fit the sub. But yeah. I think ultimately that it's not great. It's not ideal. You're hiding something from your spouse. But look, of all the things to secretly do, I think, hopefully with time, it's been 4 years and that was 18-month period. So, geez, you think it'd be long enough. But eventually, hopefully, this level of trust will come. And she says, hey, I got bad news and good news. All right, what's the bad news? I've been hiding something from you. What is it? A Toyota Corolla money. Oh, shit. That's really not bad, right? I mean, I would be like, all right. I mean, kind of hurts my feelings, but I'd be like, are we getting it? Let's go.
Yeah, I'm ready to take this to the grave now because I'm like, how do you come out of this without like a big fight and trust issues? I don't know.
Would it be a big fight?
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I'd be like, the way she's doing this from my read is she's taking $400 to $600 off her paycheck, money that he assumes she's just spending. She's just saving extra money. I'd be like, so you were scrimping? Yeah. You were scrimping. While I was over here eating Chipotle every day. You were eating Chipotle every other day. My God, why would I say this? This is making me sick just to imagine doing that. But anyway, it's an example.
Well, I feel like then it turns into you were hiding this from me for 3 years. What else are you? It turns into a whole thing. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It does turn into a whole thing. She goes, nothing. This is it. I had this financial insecurity and I saved the money and I thought I'd tell you. And one of the reasons I didn't tell you is because I was scared of your reaction that you're having right now. Oh, shit.
See,
Let me take some
exactly.
space. I'm going to go to Chipotle.
Exactly. I don't know.
And it's on you this time, damn it. She goes, all right, that's
Extra
fair. I got you
guac.
for one. Extra guac on you. I do not endorse Chipotle. I find it too salty. And shout out to the improv teacher I talked trash to when I was 22 years old, who said it was too salty. And I fought him in front of the improv class. And I was wrong. I was wrong, bro. You were wise in that moment. And I was young and I was stupid. And I also thought I had a big dick. There was a lot I didn't know about life back then. And now I know it. Okay.
Man.
All right, guys. I think we agree on that one that it's, what are we saying? No assholes here?
I think so. We don't really know about why that he would be an asshole.
Soft NAH, but maybe you are a little bit. It's not ideal. You are lying to your spouse. Not ideal. All right, here we go. ATA for accidentally telling my parents about my sister's pregnancy because I was tired of keeping the secret. I, 24F, have a younger sister, 21F. We're not really close, but we're not enemies either. Wow. We always had a competitive sibling dynamic. 2 months ago, she told me she was pregs. It wasn't planned. She was freaking out about the parents. They're traditional and they can be judgmental. She made me promise not to tell anyone. Don't say a word until I'm ready. Seriously. I agreed, but was hesitant. She still lives at home and I visit my parents often. Mom kept making comments to me about how my sister has been moody and gaining weight and asked if I knew what was up. I had to pretend I didn't and I started getting tired of it. I also felt weirdly left out. She wouldn't update me much, but expected me to cover for her. I was lying to keep her covered, but I had no idea what was going on. I felt used. Last weekend, my mom directly asked me if my sister was pregnant. I hesitated and finally gave in. I think you should talk to her, which obviously confirmed it. My mom confronted her immediately. It turned into a huge fight. My sister is furious and said as I betrayed her, stole the chance for her to tell them on her own terms. I told her I didn't outright say it, I just didn't deny it. And honestly, I was tired of carrying the secret around. She says I made it about me because I was uncomfortable for a few weeks while she's been dealing with something life-changing. Now she won't even answer my texts. Part of me feels guilty because I did promise, but another part of me feels like I shouldn't have been put in that position in the first place. AITA.
Well, this is kind of interesting to me because they're not enemies, right? But they have a competitive dynamic. And then the OP is always visiting the parents. And I'm like, who do we think instilled this competitive dynamic? Probably the parents.
Sure. I'm with that.
Okay.
But it's also fairly normal. I don't know if it's a ding. It's like, yeah, your siblings, of course. They're the market closest to you, man. You're fighting for mom and dad, the main people.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I think the first thing here that we're going to talk about is, it's one thing to tell someone a secret, but even the CIA acknowledges that if you have a secret, we know you might get tortured. And so we give you a little pill that will let you kind of kill yourself so that you won't have to endure torture. In other words,
he could have just killed themselves.
He should have just killed themselves. In other words, it was foreseeable that mom would lay down the pressure. The secret's going to get out because she's got a belly, she's moody. I mean, there are signs, and it's your mother. So,
well, I do think, how long did the sister think she would be able to keep this up, and how pregnant is she? Like, how much time has elapsed? I'm not being helpful. I'm just asking questions.
Well, I think
it's like she clearly can't keep it up forever. There's a time limit on this.
Exactly. And well, I mean, how obvious was it? It was obvious enough that the mom directly asked. Now, that's a difference. We talked about secrets before, Sarah. Isn't there a difference between I tell you a secret and you might even say, as you said you did say, you would say, well, who would I even tell? Well, this is quite the opposite. This is who will I have to deny this to? Who will I have to explicitly lie to? Now, that is a big difference. Surely there is something different about a secret that will never come up and will never be pressured, and one that forces you to lie, right?
Yes. And a secret that has to come out, literally.
Well, I think I would contest that because I don't love what that does for my argument, because that makes it an inevitable truth, and it means it's a secret with an expiration date. That's not my question.
Yes, it has an expiration date. Okay.
I agree with that, but that's not my question. My question is, on its face, if I tell you a secret about one of your triplets who you are involved with to some extent versus my friend Chachi Momo, who you've never met and never even heard of before, isn't there already just a difference because one could come up? You could get pressured. You might have to lie. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah. It's different.
And
that's why you got to have NDAs before you enter into your secret contract, I feel like, Danny.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is one of the problems with giving somebody a secret. And when we talk about the burden of the secret and what's realistic and what we want out of the other person, are we going to put them in a position where they have to explicitly lie? And OP was put in that position. To me, OP did not tell the secret. She did not tell the secret. She was put in a position where she had to lie. So she couldn't lie. I mean, some people can't lie. I'm a terrible liar.
I'm so bad at lying. I'm with you.
Exactly. And there's a gap between being bad at keeping secrets and being a good liar. She's not a good liar, but she's not necessarily bad at keeping secrets. That's the difference. This was a situation that was foreseeable when the secret was revealed.
Sure. Okay.
I say all this why? The top comment. Telling major news because you're tired of keeping secret is an asshole move. Before you got to that point, you should have told your sister that you couldn't keep covering for her and that your mom was getting suspicious. No.
Well, I do kind of agree with that person because they were tired of keeping it. They also said, I felt weirdly left out. And that kind of felt like that's the impetus, was maybe tinged with a little bit of revenge.
But Sarah, she didn't tell the secret. She failed to lie. True or false?
Yes, she, in effect, how do I put this? She hastened the secret getting out, I suppose.
She did not know. Rejected. She did not hasten anything. The mother asked her directly. Asked her directly. She had two choices. She could have revealed the secret, which she did not do, or she could go sideways. She had three. She could go sideways and try to avoid the question, or she could explicitly lie. She went with avoiding the question. She said, I think you should talk to her, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying that by doing that, that kind of, brought about the secret coming out.
Yes, but that's what I'm trying to argue, is that even though her answer, the reason her answer indicated that the secret and essentially gave away the secret was not because of anything OP did. It was because the secret wasn't so damn secret because someone directly asked her if the secret was true or not. That's a property of the secret, not OP.
Obvious.
Exactly.
Sure. I mean, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think both things are true. Like OP's answer made it clear what was going on, but also the parents already knew what was going on.
But my point is, this is not the same thing. If I tell you that Chachi Momo once kissed a duck and made out with a duck, okay, that's not going to come up. No one's going to say, did Chachi Momo kiss a duck? And you have to go, hey, ask Chachi Momo. You're not going to have to say that. Ask the duck. You're not going to have to say that. But there's a difference between that secret and a secret where someone is going to say, Sarah, is this true? Right? Isn't that a difference?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So when we say telling major news because you're tired of keeping a secret, no, I reject this. This was not telling major news. This was being confronted.
Well, they didn't tell.
They didn't tell. Exactly. This is being confronted with a secret that was essentially obvious or at least highly probable. So much so that it was explicitly stated and OP was put in a position to lie.
I mean, they kind of confirmed major news, but they did not confirm it.
They did not confirm it. They said, I think you should talk to her.
Their response kind of confirmed it.
They failed to lie. No, they failed to lie.
Yeah, but in doing so, confirmed it.
But how is that? How is that
even
fair?
Like by OP's admission,
which obviously confirmed it. Yes, it confirmed. Yes, however, I know, but there is a difference in what we're saying. It confirmed the secret. True. But OP did not confirm it. There's a difference.
What is the difference?
The difference is that OP did nothing wrong, damn it. OP did not confirm it. OP confirming it would be them saying, yes. They didn't confirm it. They simply didn't lie. They didn't want to lie or they can't lie. It doesn't matter.
I think what you're getting hung up on is like OP's explicit words that came out of their mouth was not, I confirm this. But what they did choose to say had the effect of confirming it, even by their admission.
Yes.
So I don't even know why we're arguing this point.
We're arguing it because it's a big difference. This had to do with the nature of the secret. This wasn't because of OP's failure. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, sure.
YTA, writes Babybug98. I'm just a believer that if somebody asks you to be quiet about something and keep their secret, you do it. OP did that in my view. Your mom had her suspicions, but you should give people the right to speak for themselves on their own terms. You could have just simply said, I don't know. No, OP does not have to lie. I don't think that's reasonable. Not in this case.
That kind of Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't know.
You
I
think-
mean,
you
that kind
think
of
that-
is what happens when you're accepting a secret is like, this is possible.
So now maybe we're finding where we actually disagree. You think that when you hear someone's secret, you are also taking on a responsibility to lie that you know the secret when directly confronted.
Potentially.
Interesting. Do you have any other examples?
Potentially. I can't think of any. But otherwise, then it's like, what is the point of the secret? It's just gossip.
When I say
you have
don't
to
tell
keep
my
to
secret,
yourself?
that means don't circulate this information. But the reason we say, who should I tell? See, now I'm defending you. Now you're not even ready for this. The reason we say, who should I tell is actually about the fact that there would be no motivation even for me to spread this information. In other words, you're conceding that there would be no external pressure such as this.
Exactly. Well, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, yes, if I know a secret, I do keep that fact a secret. I feel like I'm good at keeping secrets.
So are you saying that you're good at lying?
I'm not good at lying in every instance. Okay, here's why I'm not good at lying. I'm not good at lying because if you ask me a direct question that I'm not prepared for this possibility, it doesn't occur to me to lie. But if I already know that this is a secret, I know that I'm going to have to lie about it. So yes, in that case, I would know to lie.
Okay, so all right, let's role play. I'm going to be the mom.
My lies have to be like pre-prepared.
Okay, well, start
preparing. They don't
preparing.
come off the dome.
I'm the mom, and you know that sister's pregnant, and now I'm going to confront you.
Yes.
Hey, you know what I noticed? Your sister's been eating really a lot. I feel like she's eating for two, if you catch my drift. And frankly, she's been a real bee. Don't tell her I said that. But, do you know anything? Because I'm getting the energy that she might be pregnant.
I don't know. That's the thing. It's not that hard. You just say, I don't know.
I don't know. Is that what you said? I don't know. You seem kind of terse.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't noticed anything.
You don't know anything? Your sister hasn't talked to you about this?
If you're going to...
Your sister hasn't talked to you about this. When was the last time you talked?
Well, now I have to make up a whole lore. This is the thing. If she was badgered,
you seem awfully
tight-lipped.
Oh, so if she was badgered, then that's okay.
I think if she's badgered repeatedly, it's like, okay, this isn't like an extended improv exercise. Like at some point, it's like, what are you supposed to do?
So if you crack, you crack. But she cracked right away. So
I could give you a
she
crack
cracked right away.
Honestly,
I'll give you
I could
that.
give someone a crack under
cracked
pressure.
Right away.
This person,
she cracked. So I don't know is a lie. True or false? That's where we're going to get stuck now.
Yeah, it's a lie because you know.
It is a lie. Okay.
It's a lie because you do know. I'm not saying it's not a lie.
Candid Manic, ESH, but mostly your mom. She should have approached your sister. Your sister is also an asshole for putting you in that position. Lying to cover for someone else that lives with who they're hiding from sounds exhausting.
Seriously. I think this family's toxic.
Then they
That's
change
why
it to
I brought up the competitive thing too. I'm just like, the sister is hiding the pregnancy from their parents, but the parents are judgmental, so whatever. But she lives with the parents, so this is a ticking time bomb. Presumably, this went on so long that they noticed, the secret was coming out anyway. And then also the mom asked the sister instead of just asking the daughter directly of are you pregnant? So my first read on this whole situation was actually an ESA.
You're always on my poor OPs who tell secrets. Buddy of buddy, I was ready to vote the other way, but then you got to how you told your mom and she knew. Clearly, it was becoming obvious. It's 2 months. The changes were noticeable. If you had told your mom no, she probably would have known you were directly lying and that wouldn't do anyone any good. I have to say, NAH. I understand why your sister is mad, but it's kind of on her. 2 months is too long to keep it going under those circumstances, but that doesn't make her an asshole. It just makes her someone who failed to figure out an effective plan in a reasonable amount of time before it would be obvious.
Well, I think I could say the sister is kind of the asshole for this. I'm not ready to give a pregnant pass because it's you knew that your sister was coming over and you were repeatedly, putting her in the situation where she has to hide this information that she knows in the back of her mind from them.
Yes.
So no, I'm going to say no to that.
There's a difference. Not all secrets are created equal.
Yeah, that's true.
You're going to be put in a position where you have to directly lie. That's a type 2 secret. I'm ready to make a characterization list.
Okay.
Type 1 secret is who would I tell?
Yeah.
Type 2, you will have to directly lie. Type 3 is you will have to endure badgering. Type 4 is you will endure torture, and that's when you need a cyanide pill from the CIA.
Yes, I'm into that.
These things are not all equal. AITA for accidentally telling my parents about my sister's pregnancy because I was tired of keeping the secret. I think OP is doing herself dirty. She wasn't tired of keeping the secret. She was directly confronted and put in a position that her sister put her in by giving her the burden of the secret, which she accepted. And that's her responsibility too, because she didn't have the foresight. She should have used the who would I tell test. That may be the first question I may now ask. Hey, can I tell you something? Is it something I'm going to have to lie about? I like that. Keep me safe. No, you're not going to have to lie
Sure.
about it. Okay, tell me. Tell me. That's a type 1 secret, right? I don't know, Sarah. I think there's all these different angles we could go. I don't really want to. I think my issue with the sister is she's going to then kind of come at her, you know. She says, I made it about me. She didn't make it about her. She didn't make it about her. She's directly put in a position where she had to lie.
Yeah, no, I don't think OP invoked themselves at all. They were kind of invoked.
They were invoked, you know? So, in my view, this is suborning perjury. Bam! I've been waiting for to drop that term. You know this term?
Supporting perjury?
Suborn perjury. This is a legal jargon.
No.
Basically, imagine that I'm your lawyer. I'm your lawyer, and you tell me what happened, right? And then you tell me,
and then
you know what?
Him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You go, I killed him. And then you go, I changed my mind. I didn't kill him. I go, oh, you told me you killed him, Sarah. It's against the law for me to, as a officer of the court, to suborn perjury. So I cannot call you up to the stand under testimony and then say, knowing that you're going to lie and say, did you kill him? That would be suborning perjury, which you cannot do.
Right.
So essentially, type 2 secrets are suborning perjury. And I think they're damn dangerous.
Yeah.
And look, I just think it's one thing to go spread a type 1 secret. Now that would make you the asshole. But I'm sorry, for type 2, 3, and 4, I just cannot ding OP. I think she's pregnant and acting crazy, and they have toxic parents. And I'm ready to say NTA and soft the pregnant lady is, and soft the pregnant are. The pregnant parents are the parents.
Interesting. Okay, I think that if OP hadn't said like they just felt left out because the sister wouldn't give her updates but expected her to cover, now that is asshole behavior for the sister. But I also think it kind of, to me, gives insight into the fact that like OP was maybe being a little bit petty. Also, they were tired of it. I think 2 things can be true. So that's kind of why I'm going ESH on this, including the mom.
You're digging my OP. We're just never going to agree on secrets, people. That's just what it is.
But this is why I'm a good secret keeper. Anyone, if you want to DM me your secrets, I'll take it to the grave.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, we're wrapping up on a silly one. AITA for having my own secret honey stash. 31M and my partner, 29F, have been living together for 2 years now. I like honey in my oatmeal. More specifically, raw honey. Just the flavor I adore. Have you had that? I don't know if I've had raw honey like that.
No, I'm going to try it. I've never put honey in my oatmeal.
So I always bought it, even if it costs more than regular. But it just so happens, partner decided this is our honey now. The little jar that used to last me 2 months went out in 2 weeks because of her waffles. And these people would be putting honey on everything, these freaks. Wow. I wouldn't mind if we bought it together, but I have to order it on Amazon because no stores nearby sell it. I didn't want to seem like a cheapskate telling her to pay me. So in February, the next bottle I hid it in my desk where I usually take my breakfast. Yesterday, she caught me pouring it into the oatmeal. She got upset saying it was childish not to share it, that we're adults. But it's not sharing if she's taking 80% and paying nothing for it. Today, she came demanding honey for her waffles, and I told her it's my honey. And like out of the bloody meme, she went, our honey. Then she started the discussion again, AITA.
Okay, well, first of all, you don't get to take something of someone else's and then be like, we're sharing it.
That's true. I feel like, especially if
how
it's
that works.
A significant amount. And if it's part of their routine, that starts to get fucked up.
Yeah.
Like,
I just don't like what he said about she decided it's our honey. It's like, well, that's not how that thing goes.
Yeah, that's wild to me. I mean, I've been single for so long, and then I'll think I should get a roommate to save money just because I'm a cheap ass. And then I go, I have to share my fridge. I'm not sharing my fridge.
Yeah.
That's my fridge. So.
Fair.
Yeah, I think a little bit's fine. Like if somebody used my ketchup and stuff, but I have my little fridge routines and stuff. And yeah, I'd be like, yeah, you could have, of course you could have some, but it's like my honey, even though we're partners, we're on the same team. Like you came in to my bear stash, babe, that I got. It's special honey.
Yeah, I think if you're going to be eating it like every day on the waffles, it's like not fair. If you want it like a little dash every so often, or I would say if they trade off who buys the honey.
Well, sure. I mean, I think it's just about you. That was his honey. At the time of purchase, it was his honey. You can't appropriate that honey.
Exactly.
If you say, hey, from here on out, can you get me in on the honey? And then it's like, look, babe, you're eating like 80% of the honey. So why don't we just get our own honey? That way you can get your honey, I'll get my honey. It's no problem, honey. But it's like you're coming in on my shit. You're not buying enough. Now you're at a honey shortage. You're going to threaten my supply. No, that's crazy.
I agree. Yeah. No, I agree. She, like, at the very least, I feel like they should be alternating who buys it. I think the cleanest solution is everybody just buys their own.
I mean, with a disparity like this, I mean, this girl is straight up Winnie the Poohing this shit. Calm down. 80%? You know it's sugar. Just because bees make it doesn't make it healthy.
Right.
Like, you're just drinking sugar. What are you doing?
Just because RFK calls it a superfood.
That said,
No,
I'm
it's
ready to
great
buy
for you,
this shit
but
right
still.
now. I'm like, how much is raw honey? Oh
I
my
think
God.
I had like a raw, it's a kind of honey that starts with an M, and it's supposed to be like good for immunity, and it comes in I had it in a little tube, and I was like, oh my God, it tastes
Manuka or
horrible.
something?
Like, yeah, oh my God. I was like, what is this? It was not sweet. No wonder it's good for you.
I think I've had this, and I don't think it popped that much. I think it's like better if you eat it alone, but I didn't really taste the difference in a mix, you know? Just feed me
like,
straight up corn
tube to the
syrup and
face. It was a
Chipotle.
lot.
Today I was really bad. I eat a salad for lunch every day, and today I was like, you know what? I'm an animal. I'm going to get some ramen. And that's it. I had ramen for lunch. That's crazy behavior.
It's okay.
It's allowed.
It's okay.
I wanted it. But yeah, I think when we talk about secrets, secret honey is kind of fine. I think you're allowed to keep your honey in your desk, especially after she ate too much. I thought it was kind of cute. I thought this was kind of funny.
I think that is cute. But wait, we didn't discuss an edit to the pregnant sister thing that I'm just now seeing in the doc. That I think is actually key. Okay, I'm sorry to take us back here. But OP says, to everyone saying I should have let my sister know I could no longer keep this up and that I wanted to be involved in the situation. I did. I very clearly told her my concerns that Mom was getting suspicious and I could not keep this up for much longer. It was eating away at me, blah, blah, blah. Her response, it doesn't matter. She doesn't care how uncomfortable I feel. It's her decision and not fair to her. I mean, yeah, that like totally changes things, I think, because then it's like, okay,
but that's
the stakes were communicated. I think that changes things. I'm ready to go NTA because
that's a crap edit. I don't even want your NTA.
Why? You don't think it's true?
Of course it's not true. Okay. That's a dirty edit. That's a dirty edit. Really? Okay. You told your sister.
You put it there.
I know I put it there, and then when I looked at it again, I remembered that I didn't like it. I should have got rid of it. But yeah, I feel like
sorry.
It's just a little convenient. It's a little too convenient.
Okay. Well,
she said that. I mean, it's possible. It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, I guess I'm like, how much often do people leave out? I was thinking about this actually, and I was like, why would you not include that in your post? And I was like, well, everyone's not like me. Everyone doesn't sit there when they write something out and say, what's the worst faith possible interpretation someone could ever have to this tweet? And let me address this right now proactively. But then on the other hand, why would you not include this if this does feel like the number one thing everyone would ask you?
I mean, for me, I guess for me, I project this automatically. I very clearly told her my concerns that Mom was getting suspicious and I could not keep this up for much longer. I'm like, well, yeah, that's just the nature of knowing something like that. Whether it was communicated or not is not material. That's kind of how I feel.
Interesting. Okay.
That is the nature of a type 2 secret. On the honey stash here, I don't know if it's a type 2 secret. If it is, it's like a type 2B where it's like, who gives a shit? It's a type.
It's like a type 0 secret.
It's a pretty nothing burger. Pre-secret, yeah.
Pre-secret.
It's pretty nothing. No, I mean, technically this is a type 2 secret because
why?
He was keeping the secret from her.
Yeah.
And he was found out. So he was going to be put in a position where he had to lie. That said, of all the things to lie about, this is funny. I thought this was kind of cute. And I think for him, I would start more of an economy. I'd be like, of course, I'm going to give you one more of my honey. You have to buy your own honey. But that said, I will sell you my honey and I'll pour it and we don't charge a reasonable rate over here. It's, and you could do whatever. You could charge whatever. You're going to have to do the dishes or you're going to have to bring me the dog or you're going to have to bring me a ice cold water. You can make little deals because you're kind of the honey broker. It could be
honey
fun.
Broker. I kind of like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great. Overall, though, I am saying not the asshole she is. She impinged on his honey.
I think so, too. Because for me, you can't just, take something that he bought and then say, oh, we're sharing it now.
You can't do that.
No.
We'll say that for the next one.
It's against the rules of preschool.
Amen. All right, folks. Well, thanks for joining us, Sarah. Thanks for joining me. It's been a blast and a half. And we'll see you guys next time.
So fun. Bye.
Bye.